The one thing on the automated line that did make me chuckle was it advertises a health checkup, in which it refers to obviously a Windows machine, and there's a plethora of options there for you to take your computer to get it fixed. And I just like the way it was referring to it as a health checkup, as if this was some sort of important task that.
A while ago, when a person called Scott Charney, I think Charney is the way you pronounce his name, not sure. He was talking about how people would need to have a health, go to the PC. I think the word was go to the PC doctor or something on the web. And lots of people were criticizing the BBC for showing you a vaccine or showing you a needle and things as though you have to think of computers and viruses in terms of things like an illness. My computer is ill. I'll put it in the trash because it's got some viruses in it. And some people think like that. And I personally, stepping outside of IT, I'm very careful. Even use phrases like break my heart and it's in my soul. And some people take it literally.
Yeah.
And some phrases you don't think about it. You say, well, I suppose religious phrases as well. You don't really want to make religion joke. But even religious phrases, some people take things literally, where you just mean it metaphorically. So when you say something like the computer is ill, or it's got a virus, you have to think some people actually think it's got a virus.
Yeah.
You have to be very careful with the words.
It's very sad that this type of marketing does work. At the end of the day, they're referring to a computer, a lump of plastic and a few bits of metal and a few other chemicals, as a living, breathing part of your family that needs a health checkup every so often.
It's your fault because you didn't take care of it, or you didn't clean it enough. Now it's got a virus in it. And I bet you some people who are not very good with computers, they think that if they dust off the computer, it's going to remove viruses from it or something. I'm serious. I'm pretty sure because they don't really know how the computer works. You just click a button and something happens. And when somebody says your computer is ill, they encourage to think that the computer, they have to switch it off because, the computer is ill. Oh, let's switch it off. It's tired.
I was once asked by somebody, I don't want to cheapen them. I'm not obviously laughing at them because this was a genuine concern they had. But they had to buy a new PC. They claimed that it was ruined by a virus, but I think more likely just broke and they didn't know how to fix it to reinstall the operating system or whatever. But they only wanted to buy a base unit. They already had a monitor, and this person asked me whether plugging in the monitor from the virus-infected machine into his new box would infect his new box with the same virus that destroyed the old one. And I think this sort of stuff plays right into Microsoft hands, because if they can make you believe that it's your fault that your computer has gone down and that these problems are something that you've done, you've maybe pressed the wrong button, you haven't been careful when you've installed software, then they can keep selling you new machines, they can keep selling you antivirus software that's maybe shovel in with Windows when you buy the machine from a third party, and the cycle continues. And it's computers shouldn't be like this. Computers should be like they were 20 years ago. When
you tell me that your computer is slow, I'm very opposed. I hear it from lots of people, even probably we say the computer is slow. We should think twice before we say that. We should say something like the operating system is slow, the application is slow, or the computer is under a lot of stress, or something like that. Because you said the computer is slow, that's the reason people buy a new computer when they get a virus, is because they the computer is very old now, slow, and sometimes you say something like, I don't have enough memory, even the use of the word memory for disk space. Although it is kind of interchangeable in some way, but you have to be careful what you say about memory and disk space, because some people think if you install an application for them, they think, it's going to take up some of my disk space, so my computer is going to be slower, because they don't really know the difference between RAM and hard drive. That's pretty difficult for most people who don't study computers, who don't really know the difference, and I cannot blame them. When I was younger, I probably thought the same way, but actually when I was younger, I suppose the hard drive, the disks were so small that the memory actually had to use some resources of the disk, and it was quite a similar different story. But now, if you might see people who think the computer actually has to slow over time, like it's kind of like buying a pet dog and it gets old and then you have to buy a new one because this one is kind of used up, or maybe they think it's like a telephone battery that just gets shorter lifetime over time. But you have to explain to them you could explain to them what a clocking mechanism is. And a computer always works at the same speed if under certain conditions. And either it works or it doesn't work, but it always will work at the same speed. And if something is slow, it just means it spends a lot of time doing things it shouldn't be doing. So we just reinstall the software, the operating system or whatever. So, and I see lots of salesmen really. What's considered to be the good salesman, I put it kind of in quotes, the good salesman is the person who's very effective at selling people things they don't need, to push things they don't need. And they will take advantage of that. People say, I've got a virus in my computer. They'll say, oh, you need a new computer, Oh, my computer is very slow. I think I've got some worms. Oh, well, we got a new computer for you. That'll fix everything. And these people go right into it and they buy a new computer instead of just reinstalling the operating system. Because, these people who exploit their ignorance, and not ignorance in general, but ignorance of how computers work, they perpetuate this ignorance. They have people think that, they have to buy a new computer just because they had an issue with the previous computer's operating system. And it is true, when they buy the new computer, they're going to have the new operating system installed, but they don't actually buy a new computer as much as they just replace the operating system, and they also get another computer, which is a bit like buying a second bed or something for yourself. You can only use one at a time, so it's got no purpose to it.
Well, I think we've covered all the subjects we're going to do. We're going to round it. Well, I'm looking at the clock now. We've done 1 hour 45. I was taking away sort of the intro, so maybe about 1 hour 30 probably we've done. If I may, Roy, I'm going to do just a very, very quick piece of feedback which I got via email, and it's still related to the last subject, and that's I had an email from a gentleman who was asking about my opinions on Jolly Cloud. Or Jolly Cloud. I recently did an experiment of sorts where I took a few lightweight distros that are meant for netbooks or low-spec PCs in order to find the one that I wanted for myself over the Christmas break. So I was taking away my netbook to my mum and dad's house, and I didn't want XP that was floating on there somewhere, so I was going to replace it and do an installation via a live USB install. So I settled on Peppermint, and I received a few emails about my comments about Jolly Cloud. I just wanted to clarify them because the email I got sort of exemplified all the remarks I've had. No, I didn't like Jolly Cloud. I absolutely hated it. It was far too much like a large version of a mobile phone operating system sitting on my netbook. The reason why I didn't want that on my netbook was because my netbook's got a decent sized screen, it's got a keyboard, I can plug a mouse in, and to all intents and purposes it is a desktop computer or a desktop PC while I'm away from home. I want something that resembles my desktop. I want to be able to create a shortcut on my desktop and drag folders and drag icons and do everything that I would on my desktop, albeit on a smaller screen of the netbook. I didn't feel fully in control with Jolly Cloud. It was a very, very good operating system or platform for people that maybe are just new to netbooks and want something quick and simple. Bang, get your package loaded straight away. But I just didn't like it for that reason. The distro I settled on was Peppermint, based on Mint, which is based on Ubuntu, which is Debian. A fantastic cloud hybrid machine. Platform distro, and that's the one I settled on. Very, very good. I recommend, again, I'll say it again, to anybody who wants a netbook distro or something for a very lightweight machine, to consider looking at Peppermint at the very least, because this offers you a plethora of features, some cloud-based, some locally based, but it doesn't matter because you've got the full, you've got massive repro to choose software from. So give it a look and see what you think of it. So I was very impressed by that. I'm still using it on netbook today. In fact, when I'm in the TechBytes website chat room, I'm often in with my netbook sitting downstairs and sitting with my main PCs upstairs. So very, very good. So that's why I didn't like Jolly Cloud. That's not saying that people that choose it are wrong. It just wasn't for me, and that's the beauty of Linux, because we get to choose. I don't know if...
I think it's based on the Ubuntu Remix or some netbook Remix, or...
Jolly Cloud.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the UI that I took great exception to. It was far too simplistic, which maybe some people would argue is good for a netbook, but it was more my opinion was that the UI was more suitable for a mobile phone. It put me in mind of Android, which is a great platform for your mobile phone when you've only got a limited size screen. But I've got a reasonable size screen on my netbook, and I want it to look like my desktop. And obviously,
Do you want to run several applications at the same time on the same screen, I suppose, or is this the main requirement you had, or? We had very good mechanisms for switching between applications, and when I was using the